Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, TE Live, Rumble, Amazon Music, that's the one I forgot, and 28 other wonderful places where you can stream and watch and listen, even though it's radio, and also participate. And I'm so glad you've joined me today on the show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all. I used to say Kardashian, but these days, we're not talking about him or anyone else whose life really doesn't matter to you, but focusing on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end and special series. And it is Thursday, so you know the drill. Guess who's here with me in studio? His name is Sam Works. He's my co-host for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam. Please welcome to the studio, Sam Works. And I don't see you, Sam, with your picture. And we are going to just keep going as if there's nothing wrong here. Because everything happens for a reason. These are the times when I just say, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this. So I can't reach messages, but I know I just something. I am so grateful that there you are. Oh my goodness. Yay. I was just about to start panicking, and I'm going to do this because there's more than one way to go live instead of more than one way to skin a cat. So welcome to the show, Sam.
Yes, thank you.
We've got it. And it is, let's see, Thursday, October I don't even know days, 13th, I think. Yeah. It is the opening of the Newport Beach Film Festival, which I get to be one of the show sponsors for. So just a little commercial to start. It's the most diverse film festival. So there's a Chinese spotlight film. And the 2 tickets that I gave away for the Pacific Showcase, they got COVID. So if you would like a pair of tickets valued at $200 to this amazing party that starts with a film, a Chinese spotlight film, on next Thursday on my daughter's birthday, October 19th. Go to drmarissa.life and put in the subject line. I was going to say COVID, but we're not going to do that. How about lion dance? Because there's lion dances and free alcohol and free food, and it's amazing.
Dr. Marissa, I call dibs.
I won't tell the sponsor you're not actually a listener, that you're a co-host. So I guess, never mind. Don't go to drmarissa.life.
I'm sorry for everyone who wants to go. I really want to go. I need some time to experience life.
So if you want to be his date, go to drmarissa.life.
Okay, I'll do that.
If you want to be my date, put in Dr. Marissa, and we'll just have a party down there. But it's a beautiful event. I'm going to have Sam pull up the commercial during the commercial time. But let's get started with our gratitude sandwich before we launch into Sam's topic. Do you want to give a little commercial before we do our opening?
A commercial of the topic?
On the topic. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So last week we kind of touched up on relationships, as we do every Thursday. But one of the things that really drawn my attention was attracting opposites. So I know everyone's has, been with someone or dated someone who is not the same as them, who's the complete opposite with them, and they don't know why they're so attracted to them, but we always end up being with those people. So this morning, we're going to touch up a little bit up on it. So
sounds good. Why do opposites attract? And then why do opposites drive us crazy? That's the topic for today. So if you've just tuned in, I see eyeballs rolling in. We're going to have a quick bite of our breakfast gratitude sandwich, and then we're going to get into the topic for the day. So thanks for joining us. You can always participate with your 8 cents worth in the chat on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. All right, here we go. 8 specific gratitudes of what you want, what you're thankful for. Dr. Wayne Dyer says 5. I'm an overachiever and Chinese, so I do 8, lucky number, a homophone for good fortune. So I'm going to kick it off this morning. I'm grateful that I have a very smart phone that can take over when my mama computer says, you're not going to be able to access your camera.
Nice. I'm grateful for Dr. Marissa and her show, keeping me on my toes and making me learn more about technology than I thought I ever would.
Great one. I am grateful for the gray kind of overcast skies, knowing that the sun is shining somewhere. So the sun's always shining.
You know what? I have to touch up on that. I posted this morning. I'm grateful for the morning and evening fog, knowing that it's the right weather for what it's supposed to be. It's October.
I keep forgetting, but I am solar powered. So that's why the sun is so important to me. I am grateful for breath. I'm grateful for breath. It's a great symbol of abundance. When I take a breath, I take nothing from you. There's more than enough breath to go around.
Okay. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that have came my way so far. I have not let one, down yet. So all the doors are open.
Including the Chinese Spotlight film with Pacific Showcase.
Exactly.
That was hilarious. I am grateful for, oh my God, that means we're going to meet in person for the first time. Oh my God, not in a bar.
Well, we don't want to meet at a bar anyways, right?
It was your idea.
That's true.
All right, I think it's my last gratitude. I'm grateful that my daughters are coming down for a visit because it's the younger one's birthday. And a daughter, big girl in the whole wide world, arrived yesterday. And best little girl in the whole wide world arrives on Sunday for her birthday dinner. So
that's awesome.
For that.
I am grateful for honestly the YouTube, because there's this guy that I watch that really inspires me to keep going every day to be somebody.
Who is it?
Wes Watson.
You can invite him on the show. Hey,
look him up.
I will. I'll invite him. It's really amazing. That's what I'll add an extra gratitude. I can remember when I was just getting started, I think I was in my first or second year, just reaching out and asking Fran Drescher, who's huge, to come on the show, and shocked. Yes. Janine Roth, who's huge, a #1 New York Times bestseller multiple times. Oprah's diet coach emailed her out of the blue, invited her on. She said yes. In fact, almost every single big name, there's no such thing as big names. All names are big, but you know what I mean. The ones that are in the limelight.
The celebrity names, yeah.
Yeah, that's why they call me the celebrity host, is because wonderful reason I built up that reputation early. So I'm grateful for that. That's a bonus
That is
gratitude.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And appreciations. What do you appreciate about yourself so that you can stop running around saying, "Who likes me? Who likes me?" Literally, how many likes? So, what do you appreciate about yourself, Sam?
I appreciate that I've been growing like in self-development in the past couple months.
I've seen it.
Oh, thank you.
Yay. I appreciate that I have no fear. That's related to my last gratitude. I just do it. You know, gospel according to Nike. I get an impulse, I do it. Does the before the voice says, "Nah, you can sleep a little longer. Nah, you're not that puffy fat. Nah, they're never going to say yes to your invitation to come to the show." I just do it.
I like that. I appreciate my grind. I'm starting to surpass some people that I've been hanging around with, and it sucks because they can't jump on the train with me because they don't want to. But hey, I'm here to strive.
Yep. I appreciate that I juice my life. People say all the time, "You're so busy, you need to relax and slow down and smell the roses." And darlings, I got to tell you, I can do that when I die, number one. And two, I do smell and play with, if you're on my social media at all, Instagram, it's Doc Balance, Dr. Marissa, everywhere else, I stop and play with little kids. There's this adorable little kid that's on my social from yesterday. The mom gave me permission to tape him. He
Little
has
booty bump.
age. So cute. No, that's another one. That's
Oh,
Greg Reed's son. Yeah, he's my red carpet dance buddy. But it's so I do stop and enjoy puppies and kids and dance and at the same time I know that I don't get this day again. No matter
that's
what
true.
happens, there's no do-overs in days. You get one chance. And so I want to juice my life and do everything I can. And I truly appreciate my my stubbornness around that.
You know, I think you just opened my eyes just a little more.
I like
No,
that.
no do-overs for the days. That's pretty powerful.
It is. It is.
Yeah. I appreciate taking everything that I can take and give nothing back.
I appreciate that I'm selfish.
Ooh, wow.
Traditionally, it's seen as a bad thing, but I'm a student of the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks, and one of the um, one of the BS belief systems that we have adopted from our family, our religion, or our country is that we are here to serve in life. And I'm not knocking service. I think service is fabulous and it makes you feel good. But there's the ticket. You do things that make you feel good. That's what life is for. Not to hurt people, but not necessarily to slave and give of yourself so much that you've got nothing left for yourself. That's not what life is about. I am here to have a great life, to have a good time, to have a fun time. I want to feel good most of the time. And when I don't, I know that that's contrast for me to get chiseled to even more goodness and wonder and love and peace and joy. And I'm grateful. I appreciate that I know that.
You know, Dr. Marissa, I think there's something that you don't know. Or
Uh-oh.
maybe you don't realize. But all your happiness and all your fun and excitement is literally spreading your knowledge and your love with all these people here, which is not selfish because you're not holding it in, you're not keeping it to yourself. And I feel like that's why your life is so amazing.
Aw, I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
All right. So, but and it's okay. It's okay if I'm being selfish. So
Yes, of course.
yeah, yes. But I like that. I like that angle.
Mhm.
I learned something new from you today.
And then I got one more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, something that I appreciate about myself is that I know that death doesn't have a date, so I keep moving forward. I don't think there's time to rest. And I don't think, you know that too. So we're here to stay busy.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. I say, and I mean, that I live every single day as if it is my last. And you will catch me saying on a frequent basis, if I died after this show or during the show, God forbid, but if I should, there is nothing that I have left undone, unsaid, or unexperienced. And that is success in my definition. Sure, I would love to go on a cruise to see polar bears and the aurora borealis, but that doesn't mean I'm unfulfilled because I haven't done that. Because to this point of my ageless milestone, there is nothing that I have regrets about. There's only a plethora of amazing experiences and stops on this joyride of life. And all I need to do is look through my phone and say, oh my God, I did that and I did that. And all the success that you see, honestly, was never I'm going to do that and I'm going to get that award and I'm going to, it's been this receptivity of an openness to say exactly what I said to you. I'm here on the planet to have the best time that I can as a human being, as a spiritual being, having a human experience. And that's why I'm so glad that we're doing this particular show, because it allows me to have a lot of fun. Because you just never know what's going to come, unintended, out of my mouth.
Okay.
And with that shocker, let's start the topic of why or opposites attracting. So the who, what, where, and why of opposites attracting. And then we wrap up the show with some Happy 88 tips that help you if your underwear is tied up in a bow from being so frustrated with people in your life who are opposite. Then we have some tips for you on how to feel better about that. So let's set the stage. As usual, we live out loud, and Sam and I share our personal lives to a fault, maybe sometimes, but let's set the stage and see if other people have had experiences in relationships where they're completely opposite. And then if you want to put in the chat, you can as well. And then the feelings associated with that and what happened. So do you want to start, Sam?
Yeah. The first thing I got to say is I think being with an opposite is almost needed, right? And the reason being is because it makes you stronger, because you're not always in your strong suit, right? Now you're with somebody who challenges you, who frustrates you mentally, physically, emotionally, and it really makes you stronger as a whole. So I don't know why opposites attract, but I think it's almost necessary. Right? Because I know last week we talked about being comfortable is not good, because then you start to slack off a little bit. And when you're with your opposite, you're on your toes. You're awake and you're woke, because you're doing stuff that you don't want to do, or you're going through stuff that you've never done before. And I think that's the part of growth, and that's why you're in relationships, right? You're growing with somebody. And so I'm not too sure why we attract, but I think it's a good thing. What are your thoughts?
It's an interesting phenomena. It definitely is a human funny thing where you have preferences and you seem to find someone who doesn't have your preferences, but has something different. And psychologically, from the studies that I grew up with in psych school, one of the reasons they give is you're trying to complete the side of you that you're not either good at or weak at, or that's not you. So, for example, if you are more of an introvert and you would like to experience more extroversion, then you attract, or you are attracted to, someone who sort of balances out your half. So that is,
Balance. That's a
yeah.
good one.
So that is one of the reasons that people say that happens. Like, why would that? Because it doesn't, sometimes on a common sense level, it doesn't make sense, because why would you be with someone who does things exactly opposite to what you're comfortable with, right? So if you're a neat freak, why is it that you seem to be with people who need picking up after? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you attract or want that in your life? Because it's so frustrating, right? Because if you weren't a neat freak and they weren't a neat freak, then it wouldn't matter, right? What's going on, and nobody's upset with anyone. And it goes to the point when I introduced this topic when I was prepping for the show last night. It was a trophy night at the Long Beach Yacht Club. Sailing season number 31 is over. And but we got trophies last night, and I was at the table, and they asked me what the show was today, and I said, why do opposites attract? And my girlfriend Janice goes, so that we can drive each other crazy for the rest of our lives. And I laughed, and but the ironic part is, for a lot of people in relationships, that's exactly how they are proceeding, and it's kind of crazy how we do that to ourselves, and it goes against common sense, but common sense is uncommon. And I will add on this little piece that I wanted to address last week, but we didn't have time, called the picker. So when you have a picker, and you just said the positive side of why opposites attract, so it makes you grow. The downside of opposites attract is, for some reason, you either you think you don't deserve it, or you are used to it and you're just comfortable with it because it's a bad habit. You bring people into your lives that don't have the qualities that you want. So if I'll use myself as an example, I grew up with you're fat, you're ugly, and you're clumsy. Now, I would hope that I would want an intimate relationship with someone who said, you're beautiful, you're svelte, I love your body, and you're graceful, right? Because I know what I don't want, so I know what I do want. However, I attracted a man who only said, I love you, if I asked him, do you love me? And even when I asked him, he would not necessarily say yes. And that's one of the reasons why I stayed so long, because he didn't say no. I was just delusional in thinking, because he didn't say yes, he didn't mean no. And then he not only did not compliment me unless I asked him, he would introduce me to other of his friends as obese behind my back, and I was thinner than I am now. So how did that happen? I had a faulty picker based on unhealed, unprocessed self-concept, where I didn't think I deserved someone who actually saw me as the opposite of what I grew up. And instead, I was comfortable with that feeling of not being good enough, of not being attractive, of not being all that or any part of that. And I picked him. This is a very common phenomena for children who have had childhood trauma. the 7 out of 10 of us. My honorable moniker, Oprah, says it's as high as 8 out of 10 of us. So because of that, we our picker is off. So if you have picked someone who does not have the qualities that you want, I would ask you to look at that as perhaps you don't think you deserve someone who's generous, someone who's kind, someone who really puts you in the best possible light. And that's how we sometimes pick people who we don't really want. And that's opposite.
You know, on a more extreme level, typically like women who have been in like abusive relationships, they always tend up being with a guy that's abusive over and over and over again. And I heard that it's because, like, you know, when you're going through that phase or that action, whatever, like your adrenaline's pumping, right? Because you're getting abused, you're getting hurt, and your emotions start rising. They're elevated. But when they get with someone who's just a nice guy, who just respects them, whatever, like the energy level is so low that they start to act up because they want them to like bring their like chemical imbalance back up again, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what like the opposites do. It's like they put you on a different level that if you were with someone that's exactly the same with you, then the frequency or your energy level is just like not as high. So it's like you're always searching for that urge to get that feeling again, you know, even if it's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
Because adrenaline is the same emotion. It's just what your mind decides it to be, right?
Yeah. I am drama, therefore I am. Right? That's the energetic you're talking about. And it is unfortunately more common than not. You've seen that t-shirt, or women say, if I walk in a room where I don't know anyone, I'm drawn to the one that has a t-shirt on that says, I'm an a-hole, I'm an asshole, right? It's like there's a whole group, a whole room full of really nice guys, but you're drawn to that. And one of the reasons I believe that happens is, again, you are trying to remedy something you could not fix in your past. So if you grow up with a parent who is incapable of giving you the love that you want, then you learned to go to the tractor for milk. Now, tractors don't give milk, right? But you are drawn because you're trying to fix that which you couldn't fix. So it didn't work with, my parent, but it's possible that I could make this man love me even when all the signs said he's not gonna love you. But it's like, well, maybe if I do this, or maybe if I do that, or maybe if I lose this amount of weight, or maybe if I, do that or achieve this, or maybe he will finally love me. It's that unresolved tension from the past. And that's often what happens with women. Because why would a woman who respects herself seek out a man that disrespects her? It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But for a child who's had trauma, who's been told you're not attractive, then it makes total sense, right? I'm going to take the most extreme situation to prove you wrong. So I'm going to find someone who definitely doesn't find me attractive and make him attracted to me. And I can spend my entire life in a bad relationship. One of my past guests, Tony Tennille, I don't know if you know that Captain and Tennille, love will keep us together. You know that song? It's an older song. You probably don't. Oh, your mom will know. She stayed with the captain for 39 years. 39 years until she gave up trying to get him She gave up going to the tractor. He did not give milk. He would never give milk. But she's a classic example of what I'm talking about. If you listen to her interview on my YouTube channel, it's amazing. I mean, she's an amazing, talented, gifted, beautiful woman. And she gave 39 years to try to help him. Okay. And she has to take ownership too. It is definitely not one of those, one-sided thing. You could say he was an asshole, but he was who he was. He did the best that he could. It's one of those, you decided to stay. So there's never just one-sided thing.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of like the universe saying, like, it's gonna teach you a lesson, and if you don't learn from your lesson, it's just gonna keep coming at you until you do.
Yeah.
And it took her 39 years to learn the lesson.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like it's punishment, because the lesson, it kind of triggers me into that, the hell and brimstone, and if you sin, you're going to get punished, and a lightning bolt and all of that. I believe that everything in our lives happens for a very good reason, and there's a lot of good that came out of those 39 years. The music that came out of it was forking amazing. If you go look at her playlist, you're going to be like, OMG, they were icons in their time together, and they made beautiful music. But at the same time, I think that all of the things that we are faced with like that chisel us into more and more beauty and more good, not as a punishment, but as a sculpting of who we are.
Yeah, you can take it two ways. You can either think it's a curse, or you can think it's a gift. And the way you see it, it's a gift.
Because it feels better.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
It really does.
Great. You're going to keep the eye on the time. I can't do it at the same time on the phone, but about partway we'll do the commercial. But what time are we at now?
We're at 39, so we should probably do the commercial.
Oh, yeah, perfect. We see, this is like normal. We can go without taking a breath.
Yeah, exactly.
39 minutes. It's that way all the time. So we'll take the station ID now. If you're wondering who this good-looking youngin is with me, and not calling myself olden, but ageless, ageless wonder. Someone called me that the other day. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. Wonder Woman, Ageless Wonder. I am in studio live in my living room with Sam Works in his official studio at KCAA. This is our weekly Thursday special series called Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works
on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back talking about why and how do we have fun with opposites when they attract. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Are you gonna play the commercial?
I can't access it. I thought I texted you for you to press it because I can't access it from my phone.
I'm sorry. Let's click on this one so I find it.
What if conforming to the world was exploring the world? What if the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl, turns into how many streets of life do you want to explore? What if the purpose of life is not to die with the most toys to leave our squabbling relatives? What if the purpose of life was to do things that we enjoy most of the time? Have relationships that we enjoy most of the time? And use our unique talents, gifts, and abilities to fully express in the dash between birth and death. What if, as a direct result of this horrible pandemic, we could rise out of the ashes with a new PPP, post-pandemic possibilities? The sooner you turn "it's impossible" to "I'm possible," the what ifs become possible too. Because you are loving, lovable, and loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. But it may start with getting out of
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you can get all past 799 shows. Oh my goodness. Tomorrow's show number 800. I've been on 545 consecutive weeks, and so glad. They said that a positive show would not last, and they were wrong. I'm so grateful that you're still with me, and I know that whenever you're watching this, you are encouraged to know who you really are. You saw in my commercial promo, that's my first short film called PPP, Post-Pandemic Possibilities. Please do use that. It's free on YouTube. That is part of what's available. Also, my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more. And it is Thursday, and we are here with Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And we're delighted to be talking about opposites attracting. And we got a little bit psychological with some of the reasons that we are. And Sam gave the positive side of it. I gave a little less positive side of it, which is a good balance, which is unusual. Usually it's the other way around. But see, I'm rubbing off on him, literally, not literally. I had to get that in. I don't think I've ever said that one before. And I did not plan to say that one. I did not plan. But what did not play the commercial that I had loaded, but I think it got lost. But I did want to give another shout out to the Newport Beach Film Festival. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, please go. There is an actual promo code, Chinese 2022, where you get a discount. I forgot to mention that earlier, so make sure you go there. Also want to give a shout out to the Saban Theater that is having amazing fabulous musicians and musical artists. The Temptations are coming in January. Gordon Lightfoot. I'm going on Saturday night to see Judy Collins. Isn't it rich? Aren't we happy? You have to know that song. Send in the clowns. No. Anyways, this is highlighting our non-age differences, but I need to have your mom on the phone, on the show to appreciate those.
Honestly.
But that's at the Saban Theater this coming Saturday night. So I'll be there if you want to join me there. It's just Google Saban Theater or where music meets the soul.com. All right. So there's the commercials. We're coming back into the topic. Why do opposites attract? Let's go on the funny end. So the funny end is, isn't it interesting how many couples you know, one wants to stay in and one wants to go out. One wants to go camping. The other one, like me, is allergic to dirt and camping, even glamping. I hate dirt. So one wants to go to the mountains, the other one wants to go to the beach. So how important is it to, like, at what point do the differences begin to cause more problems than that spike in drama, emotion, chiseling, good vibes that sometimes you were talking about keeps you on your toes? Where's that point where you go, okay, I see my attraction, I don't understand it, but this is going to drive me crazy until I like kill somebody? So what do you say to that?
I think it's to the point where, especially the extroverted one, wants their spouse to participate in their activities, right? Because the biggest one was my parents, right? My mom used to take us kids everywhere to all her like friends' dinners and like celebrations. And for the longest time, my mom's friends thought that she wasn't married. She would always be like, "Oh, where's your husband? Where's Scotty? Blah blah blah." And my mom would be like, "Oh, he's not making up excuses, but like he's always doing, like he's always at home or he's always at work." And for years, everyone's like, "Oh, she's just making him up," until every once in a while, like he started to come out and show his face, and everyone was in shock. But I think that really starts to deteriorate a relationship, because like you want to do stuff with your spouse. That's why you're with them, right? And my aunt, she recently got married, and she's extroverted. She's in plays. She does like modeling. She does all this stuff. But her husband, he's so pale. He does not go outside. He's very quiet. Like during barbecues, he doesn't really talk. He's the one barbecuing. And it's like, it's just curiosity. Why are you with them if they're not participating? But I guess at the same time, it gives you space, because everyone wants their space as well.
Yeah. Well, picture this. Can you imagine two people like your aunt in the same breath of space, right? It's really one of those, I want an alpha man. I want someone who is as joie de vivre and active and all of that. But when I do have that, it's crazy, because we're not going to want to do the same things, and we'll never, it's like ships passing through the night, because his life is full, my life is full, and there's not much intersection. So in that sense, what you're talking about, I can understand if your aunt's like, I kind of know that it would be good for me to balance out with someone who anchors the home life or anchors the thing at home. And maybe your mom had that too, is that, when you're out and about in the air, literally, that having someone who's in the air with you may feel a little unstable, but having one person in the air and one person on the ground is a balance that might need to be. However, I will say this, that and this is from couples that come to me for relationship coaching, when that is the case, when it starts deteriorating, when the other person tries to change the other one. So when you're attracted at the beginning, it's okay. But once you pass that first trimester of my pregnancy model of relationships, it drives you crazy. And at that point, I say in the third, when they're making the decision whether to stay together or not, I ask them both, 80% of the time, are you 88% happy with each other exactly the way they are? And if they say no because they want the other person to go out more, or the other person wants them to stay home more, then it's time to separate. And actually, we're going to talk about this on tomorrow's show. This is a really good segue. Cynthia and I are going to talk about, when to hold and when to fold in a relationship. But that's one of the rules that I use is, are you 80%? I used to be 88, but that's too high. 80% happy the way they are, exactly as they are. And this is very difficult because at the beginning of the relationship, you are all, butterflies and all of that, and you're fine. And then second trimester, what usually happens, you start focusing on those things that you don't like. You forget about the things that you like. You forget about why you were initially attracted. So a lot of relationships, if you can just switch your focus and say things like INTBOH, which is, it's not that big of a hairy deal, then you're able to, okay, so he always leaves his clothes there. Is it that big of a hairy deal for me just to follow, pick it up and stick it in the basket? Because I'm never going to make him naturally go, oh, let me please her. Let me pick that up. Let me, show how respectful. It's not disrespect. That's just the way they are. You knew that going in. So why is it a big hairy deal now? So that is one of the tools that I use when couples get in trouble with the differences that way. Another tool, how much time do we have?
We have about 7 minutes.
Okay, I'll do one more tool and then you go.
Okay.
Before I forget, the other tool is a wonderful one that I actually learned from a neighbor, and she and her husband came to my Tai Chi class on the beach, and she said, I had to pay for this to get him to the class. And I'm like, you had to pay your husband to come to my class? And he goes, yes, we have a point system. And when he does something that I want that he doesn't want to do, he gets a certain number of points. And we each have points at the start of the month. And we use the points to compromise or collaborate. She didn't call it compromise. I love actually, I called it collaborate. She said compromise. And I said, no, this is a collaboration. You are collaborating so that it's a win-win for both of you. So then when he wants something, and it might be in the bedroom, it might not, she has to use, she has to also use her points. So it was I love that tool. And I've been using it with my clients ever since in relationship coaching, because really to have that expectation that someone's going to change for you because they love you is such bullshit hockey. They'll love you, but they ain't going to change that.
That is so cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is really cool. See, I said this last week. I tried doing a relationship where we kind of forced the relationship, where it's like we have to see each other like this, and if we don't, then there's punishment. But with that, there's no punishment. You get a certain amount of points, and you can use them whenever you want, however you want. I think that's really cool. I gotta start using that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the collaboration dance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And talking about like changing someone, like I think the first trimester, with me personally, I do a lot of like sacrifice, like with my time and like my emotion and just like everything else to be with that person because of that spark and that flame, And then after that, it's like I can't be doing that. So I think it really falls downhill for me. But changing someone, when I was dating this girl during COVID, like she's a night owl, right? She stays up until sunrise and then she goes to sleep. And one time I felt so bad because I was laying in bed and she's in bed with me, but she's on her phone. I said, give me your phone. Like you're gonna go to sleep. And I took her phone from her and I fell asleep. And then like, I want to say it was like 20 minutes later, I opened my eyes and I peeked at her and she was just laying completely still, just staring at the ceiling. And I felt so bad. And I was like, here's your phone, go on it. Like, I'm sorry. It's just because I was trying to, have her sleep with me rather than just her being up on her phone all night, And then it's like, when I wake up, she's asleep, and I want to stay in bed with her, you know? And it was just like, it was so hard for me to like adapt to that. And to be honest with you, I don't think I ever did adapt to that, because I have to get up, you know?
Yeah. And that's a great example of, you know, yes, you may feel the initial opposites attract, right? And then in the first 3 months, enjoy it. You know, enjoy that that feeling, that drama, that little bit of heightened whatever it is. And then in the second trimester, you know, you begin asking yourself that question of, you know, how important is this to me? Is it worth the collaboration? Now, here's where a lot of single people, myself included, fall off the beam, is we say, because it's not working naturally, it shouldn't be this much work. Then we go from chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter in our book of romance. And that's not realistic either, because you are going to have to find a way to collaborate, because you're not going to find anyone who's exactly like what you want, because you're not exactly who your best you either. You know, I just find it so funny that many and I, you know, bagging on women, more women come to me saying this than men do. So I will say this is a statistical difference in my coaching, is more women will come and say, I just want to find someone who loves me for who I am and accepts me for who I am, warts and all, right? And then they talk about who they're dating, and it's, I don't like this, and I don't like that, and I don't like this, and I don't like that. And it's like, what happened if you want someone to love you for who you are, as you are, warts and all? Why can't you do the same? And it's like this, oh, but that I don't like that. Well, then, hey, let them go. If you don't like most of the time who you're with, no, let them go, not because you deserve something better, because it's miserable being with you. Can you imagine being with someone who can't stand you most of the time? That's torture. Let them go.
It is.
Let them
1
go
minute.
find someone who likes who they are. And that's my last word. And Sam, do you have a 20-second word?
A 20-second word, man. You know what? You just got to go with the flow, because I feel like no matter what, there's going to be a new chapter. I'm not saying a new relationship, but new chapters, new challenges, new experiences, good and bad, because like you said, there is a balance. So there's my 20 seconds.
Absolutely. There is a balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace,
Peace in, peace
inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works
here on KCAA. We'll see you next Thursday together, but tune in tomorrow for Fired Up Fridays with Cynthia Kahi here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Have the best day ever.